Recording. Yeah. Okay, here we go. It's time. In 3, 2, 1.
Hey! Chitterums! Lipstick salon! All in our dista, I know they break the wall.
One girl, two straws.
The Morning Stream. Don't eat that. It's Pluto.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to TMS. It's the Morning Stream for Thursday, August 1st, 2024. I'm Scott Johnson. It's Brian Ibbett.
Hi, Scott.
Hi. Welcome to the new month, Brian. Let's hope this month doesn't rip past us too fast or give us COVID, you know?
Oh, gosh. Well, I'm safe.
Yeah, you're good for a while, I think.
I think I'm good for a while. I think I don't know how the different strains do and variants do as far as sneaking past if you've got immunity to one, if you can get another. But I feel pretty good right now.
That's
pretty good.
Give us a number. Give us a percentage.
Oh, I'm at 96, 97%. I'm
Oh, man.
pretty close to top of my form.
That's
top
awesome.
of my game.
That's
Yeah.
great.
1 week ago, testing positive for the first time.
Okay. So about a week of, just shy of a week of positivity.
Yeah, not the first time I had COVID, but the first time in this second bout of having COVID that I tested positive.
Your first one was pretty light.
It was really light. It was so light that I didn't know I had it, and ended up probably giving it to a bunch of people at the Disney 23 conference in Anaheim.
Right.
Back in September, Labor Day weekend 2021, or post Labor Day weekend 2021.
Yeah.
And then it's like I got home and I'm like, oh, now it's hitting me. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this one decided, hey Brian, I'm back.
This one decided to be, it ramped up quickly and dissipated quickly, but those 2 or 3 days right in the middle were miserable.
Yeah.
Like there were 2 days in there that was just like horrendous. Like the worst you've felt after getting, I guess not you, but people you know who've gotten really sick after a COVID shot felt like a concentrated form of that for 2 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was curious about that too, because you tend to have some reaction.
I tend to get a reaction during COVID shots, so
Yeah.
boosters. Yeah.
And I never do, and I don't know what it means. I have no idea what it means that I don't have any reaction to it.
I think it just is. Some people do and some people don't. I think there's it doesn't. Yeah, I don't know what it means. If it means anything, it just means, whatever it triggers in some people doesn't trigger it in you.
It means we all have diverse biology, and nobody's the same,
Right.
So speaking of biology and you got to eat and stuff. This is a nice swing back to the FDA thing I'm trying to create
Well
here.
done. Nice segue. Nice lead in there. Yeah.
Thank you. We were talking a few days ago about how the FDA, we weren't sure if the FDA had like an enforcement arm. Like, are they like the DEA?
Oh, right, yeah.
Are they like the, what's the one with rifles or
ATF.
ATF? Like, are they like that?
Back to firearms.
Where they have like a force, where it's not just whatever.
Can they break in, like bust your door down and say, you're keeping raw meat next to your fruits and vegetables in your fridge. Knock it off.
Yeah, your leafy lettuce has a trace of listeria. We're taking you out.
Right.
Turns out they kind of do. So we got this thing from Dave in Boston. It was an email. When I say it's a thing, we got an email. It's called email. He says this. Hey, Scott, on the show the other day, you mentioned that your neighbor worked for the FDA during doing crime investigations, but you corrected yourself and said he works for the DEA. And I was correct about that. It was DEA.
It is DEA.
But he went on to say, I wanted to let you know that the FDA does actually have a criminal investigation department called the Office of Criminal Investigation, or the OCI. That sounds like science fiction evil corporation.
The OCI totally does, yeah.
Doesn't
and
it?
Maybe it's just because we just watched RoboCop with the OCP, but...
oh, right. That's probably why. Yeah. I didn't think of that. In the pharmaceutical industry, we call them FDA with guns. They train just like the FBI and work closely with the FBI and U.S. Marshals. Hen house, whorehouse, I don't
Every
care.
dog house, hen house, chicken house,
How many? He had a
Waffle
lot.
House.
He had a lot of houses that he talked
Yeah,
about,
he had a few houses.
and I
yeah.
remember none of them. Anyway,
And I did a parody song of Johnny Cash's "I've Been Everywhere," listing all of the houses that I could come up with, including Crowded House, Chapter House.
Our House is a very, very, very
Our
fine
House.
house. All that.
Sure, yeah, all that.
Let's see. FDA does many criminal investigations. For example, they're probably involved with the current investigation of the company that distributes the Diamond Shrooms product. Shrooms, I guess that's shrooms.
Probably shrooms. I bet it's shrooms. Yeah. Oh, Diamond Shrooms. Yes.
They decide to spell it stupid, and so we have to guess.
Yeah, exactly.
That is in the news lately. Now I haven't heard this, so this was news to me.
I haven't heard this at all. Yeah.
Several people have become ill, and there have been deaths associated with these food products. They make chocolate bars, ice cream, and other edibles that contain a synthetic psilocybin, which is psychedelic mushrooms, or which is in psychedelic mushrooms. FDA even has a most wanted list. Take a look. He says, so I want to see this.
Yeah.
He says that some of the most non-criminal people you've ever seen.
Can't wait to see.
I'll pull it up here for the chat. So look at these people. They're just kind of normal looking.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get some info on this lady.
I know. I'd like to know. Yeah. Why? What did this lady do? This first lady, Nuritsa
Gregorian, some Russian or something.
Yeah.
She did. Let's see. I'm hitting more.
From the House Gregorian.
Adulteration of the pharmaceuticals. Okay, so, let's see. Something about members doctored patient files to make it falsely appear the drugs were necessary. Okay, so it's one of these opioid doctor people that are giving too much out. Let's see. How about this one? Wanted Bo Jiang. Bo Jiang, also known as Bob Jiang. Born in 1978 in Shandong, China, from May 2008 to September 2009 in the Central District of California and elsewhere. Let's see.
Oh, this guy
counterfeit
purchased insulin
pharmaceuticals.
vials.
Yeah.
This guy purchased insulin vials, graphics for the lot numbers and expiration dates, along with a labeling machine, and mislabeled the vials of insulin as human growth hormone.
Oh, shit. And they're all on the run. None of these are people they've caught. They're just out there somewhere. So
Yeah.
if you see these people, make sure to contact your local FDA crime busting unit, otherwise known as the OCI, and let them know.
Yeah, this guy, Cello Germain, between August 2006 and April 2007, Cello Germain and co-conspirator Alpha Yaya Jallo, and did Elon Musk name these people, were principals of the Fatala Corporation based in New York, which imported approximately 990,000 tubes of counterfeit Colgate toothpaste into the U.S. from China. They knew the imported toothpaste was not a genuine Colgate product and intended to sell it with counterfeit Colgate marks to confuse and deceive customers. Most of the toothpaste contained either no fluoride or significantly less fluoride than significantly less Yar than which is found in genuine Colgate toothpaste. Some of the toothpaste, in addition, contained harmful substances such as bacillus bacteria and diethylene glycol, which is toxic to humans.
Jeez. Who knew that there was a big ring of toothpaste criminals?
I know, man.
Damn.
Toothpaste. Jeez.
Humans are hard at scale. I'll say it again. We got to deal with weird shit.
Oh wait, I could get 990,000 counterfeit Colgate toothpastes. Okay, let's do that.
Hell of a deal. Yeah.
Sell them for $3 here. I will make dozens.
We're a Colgate house, so I wonder. I don't know. I don't think any of ours are clandestine, but they might be. I don't know.
Probably not.
Yeah.
I think you'd know.
Like, how would you? It'd probably just they taste funny, probably.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Or the tubes aren't as good, or something. I don't know.
I don't know how you notice that. Wait a minute, this doesn't have as much fluoride. This has significantly less fluoride than I'm used to.
Yeah. I'll bet the history of this really ramps up around the time that we had that Tylenol thing when we were kids.
Yeah, right, sure.
Don't you think? Like, FDA was probably like, oh, shit, we got to hire a bunch of cops. This is bad.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, anyway, thanks, Dave from Boston. You must be in the pharmaceutical business, and if you are, congratulations and welcome to the crowd. We got you, we got Tolbert, who knows a lot about pharmaceuticals. We got a lot of smart people out there. And maybe Jerry will pipe in today about COVID and its follow-up infection thing, like whether or not.
Patrice, can certainly chime in on,
Yeah, I'd be very curious.
Yeah,
I got a quick
counterfeit Colgate.
Counterfeit Colgate's an amazing title.
What do they call that scandal? Colgate Gate.
Colgate Gate. Oh yeah, dude. What are you gonna do there? You can't do the gate. That's too weird.
No, it just doesn't work. Colgate gate.
Could you do? Yeah, I don't know how. We're all out of them. We only have gate. We add gate to everything. It's stupid.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot,
Yeah.
Nixon. You dick. Literally a dick.
Had to do your crap at the Watergate.
Yeah.
Good-
Thanks a
good
lot,
job.
buddy. Good
Yeah.
job. I'm not a crook.
Watergate Hotel.
Let's talk about the dog lady I talked about maybe a week or two ago.
Okay.
This lady.
Remind me the dog lady.
So dog lady's
She's
the one
half
who
dog, right? If
she's
I
half
remember
dog.
correctly?
She's like the shaggy DA, but lady. No, that's not true. This is the one that comes when she walks her dogs. One's off leash and one is on leash, and they let him come right up to my porch and like sniff at the door and piss off the cat, and then it's just weird. Like, why do you let even the leashed one? Why are you letting it go all the way up to my door? It's just weird, right?
That's right. Yep.
Well, yesterday Kim and I are out doing a walk. Beautiful day, except for the smoke. Sick of the smoke. Canada, could you please put out your fires? Canada, please.
Yeah. And now we've actually got a couple local fires here in the Denver metro area. Not even in the mountains. Well, one of them is in the mountains, but the other one is like in the foothills. And it sucks. We just got so much smoke. I can't go outside.
Do you have any?
Not that I want to. It's 98 degrees, but
Do you have any mandatory? What do you call it?
evacuations.
Yeah.
We've had a couple. Not for us, obviously, but
Right.
but that area in Littleton, they had some evacuations yesterday. Yeah.
But nothing. It didn't get to them. I hope.
No, didn't
Okay. Good.
get to the homes. Didn't seem to get to the homes. So
Well, that was like our Salt Lake one that we had. That was up in the same thing, kind of like foothills above the city, and they had to evacuate a ton of stuff around there, but they ended up containing it.
yeah.
Well, anyway, so this lady, it's been an annoyance, but not anything horrible. It's just like, well, if I see her, maybe I'll talk to her.
Sure.
No big deal. So Kim and I are out walking yesterday, and coming past us are a woman, a kid, and then two dogs. And she says hi, and we go hi. And I don't know who it is. I'm just kind of walking.
You said a woman, so you didn't. I didn't know if you meant the woman.
Well,
so
it turns out it is her, but I didn't
it
know
is
it.
the woman. Okay.
Yeah, I just didn't know her. I don't know her by her face because usually her dogs are just up at the porch, and I don't know who's walking them because I've never really seen her. So Kim recognizes her and goes, "Oh, hey," and then the lady goes, "Oh, hi," and then they start. It's just very friendly, like, "Oh, neighbors," and I knew her kid Parker. I used to do scout stuff, and he was one of the kids in there.
Oh, cool.
Cool kid. Much cooler than his parents. Anyway,
Much cooler than his mom.
so they're there, and she says, "Oh, I saw you guys and your grandbabies and this and that. You're so cute and this and it was just such a pleasant interaction that my brain kind of froze up because I was like, this is your chance. This is when you are supposed to tell her this is a problem when you bring the dogs on the porch. And instead I'm going, I can't do this now. Everybody's smiling. Everybody's happy. I can't do this now. And so I couldn't do it. I couldn't bring myself to go, by the way, could you please stop? I couldn't do it. It just didn't feel right.
Yeah.
So I don't know when I'm going to say it or if I even need to say it. Maybe I just let it be.
Maybe at this point you don't need to say it. I mean, I guess if it becomes more of a problem, then you can. I don't know. You've got your. Does it come? It shows up on your doorbell or your whatever.
Yeah, the ring bell thing, or whatever it is. I don't know. Oh, ours is Wise, but same thing.
Your Wise doorbell.
Yeah, and if like problem.
It's less of a problem than the kid climbing the tree or cutting across your lawn on his bike.
Yes. And in that case, I don't have any problem telling them to knock it off.
Yeah.
Especially the kids. It's like, dude, like scare them a little bit,
Get off my lawn.
Yeah. But this lady was just so affable and nice, and her daughter was really sweet, and their dogs, I got down to like petting the dog that's the problem. Like, I'm like, oh, you're so cute and everything. And of course, one is off leash, one isn't. And we have HOA rules in this area where you're not supposed to have your dog off leash, period. I just can't be the Karen that goes, you could, but I can't do it. I just can't do it.
Then you don't need to be. Yeah, then you don't need to be.
All right.
Yeah.
I feel good about my choice then.
Yeah. And it maybe you guys will become friends, and to the point where you can say, first time I interacted with you, well, the first time I had any sort of situation with you is because of your dog, but I'm so glad we became friends and don't have to bring any of that up.
That's great, because then you kind of bring it up. Exactly. That's
then
good.
You kind of bring it up. Yeah. But
so we're at like a barbecue. It's super chill because now we're all friendly, and then I go, it's funny. Some months ago, this and that and the other, and
I'm trying to think of a way where it doesn't become potentially an awkward situation. So maybe you don't even bring it up then. Yeah. I don't even think you mention it then.
You'd have to be really close to the point, the kind of friendships where you have no problem giving each other crap.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
I don't know how.
Beard says it very well. You could have said something like, "Oh, you don't run into any problems having your dog off leash," and then it's not like you're chastising. It's like you're prodding, like a little bit of a little back door into. Sometimes it pees where I don't want it to pee.
No, that's some Wendy level redirection. I like that.
Yeah,
she'd be proud of that. Well done.
Mental Beard, could you now recommend a book?
Yeah, could you do that? And could you tell us why your name is Mental Beard? I really like to understand that.
Oh, Mental Beard, yeah.
Oh, Mental Beard, not Mental Beard.
Mantle Beard. Mantle Beard.
Mantle Beard. Mantle Beard.
Mantle Beard.
Mandelbaum. I just saw that episode last night. Too funny.
Of course you did.
I did. Lloyd Bridges in the back of a car going, Mandelbaum. It's amazing. All right, so there's that. Let's get to some news because we need to inform as well as entertain today. Where the hell's that? There it is. I found it. Today's news is brought to you by...
Another tadpooler, Nerd Steve, also likes to stream games on Twitch. You should add him to your follow list. Head over to twitch.tv/NerdSteve. And Nerd Steve, the first E in the word nerd is a 3. Spell it with a 3, not with an E.
Yeah.
But the other 2 E's are E's.
Yeah, like the video game Fear 3. They put a 3 in there for the E, so it looked like it was spelled Fathreer. Fathreer.
Yeah, Fathreer.
All right.
$1 ha.
We talked about oysters yesterday and how I don't like them, and you love them.
Yes, and I love them.
Yeah, and I think that's great. And a lot of people
more horseradish and cocktail sauce and whatever.
Yeah, I do like horseradish and cocktail sauce. Like all the things you put in there to make them taste less like a sea booger.
What is what it's called?
Yeah, I could put that on almost anything, and I would, but I don't want to put it on a sea booger. Well, anyway, a monster oyster weighing over 5 pounds was harvested off of the coast. It was a big-ass oyster. Yeah, big monster oyster. The boss of a seafood delicacy business has spoken of his shock after harvesting a monster, as his quote is, monster oyster, as big as a newborn baby. That's
probably a comparison that we don't want. Right?
No, I don't think it's just gross, man.
Because I do think of like a little slimy baby just out of the womb, and it's like, okay, big slimy oyster. Maybe maybe say it's about the size of a Black & Decker toaster oven.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Yeah, more like an appliance size.
So that's 5 pounds of oyster, not counting the shell. The shell would be for something this size would be
way heavier, like 25 pounds or something, right?
Yeah, at least. Yeah.
Imagine lugging that thing around. Jeez. Well, Todd Howard is the president of Bethesda Entertainment.
There's no Y in here. I would say it's possible this is pronounced Howard or
Howard.
Howard. I don't know.
Haward. Chat, you guys suss it out and let us know what you think.
Yeah, let us know. Reach out to him, find out.
Yeah, reach out. It's Tom Howard. Said he was fascinated by after his company retrieved a huge mollusk weighing 2.5 kilograms, that's 5.5 pounds, along the coast of Mersey Island, Essex. So this is out near the bacon lady's place.
Mersey, yeah.
Howard, whatever it is, age 43, the bacon lady, Zoe brings the bacon.
Yes, so I know, yeah.
Estimates the 12-inch long, 5 inches wide oyster. Well, you could print this. We learned.
I could. I totally could. Yeah, easily. Yeah. You could 3D print this oyster. Yeah.
Absolutely, you could. Let's see. It's 20 years old. Jeez. Which makes it considered rare, as they usually live around 6 years in harvested waters. 20-year-old oyster. Wow.
Wow.
That's like living to, I don't know. It's like a human being 120 or something. I don't know how this works.
Now, folks, this isn't Mersey, like ferry cross the Mersey, Mersey. It might be still pronounced that way, but it's Mersea Island in Essex. So
like
I don't know
Mercy.
If it's Mercy or Mersey. I know the because thanks to was it Jerry and the Pacemakers? Thanks to them, I know it's Mersey if it's Mersey.
And where's that at?
Ferry cross the Mersey. Liverpool.
Okay, so both English things.
Yeah. Still an English thing. Yeah.
All right. This thing is 1.5 inches or 4 centimeters short of the largest oyster ever recorded. So it almost got the Guinness Book of World Records. Not quite, though, just shy of it by an inch and a half. That was discovered in Denmark at 13.97 inches long. Let's see. Hayward of Richard Howard's. I hate his name because now I don't know. Richard of Oysters, of his Oysters, said, my first thought was flipping heck, he says. We're working with oysters all the time, and we see thousands upon thousands a day. The guy said flipping heck.
Flipping heck.
Are we sure he's not from Sandy, Utah?
or North Dakota? Flipping heck.
Good gosh, man.
Tim Watson, in all caps, says, I have lived in Essex. I've lived in excess my whole life. I've lived in Essex, and it is Mersey. He's confirming that it is pronounced Mersey.
So they say Mersey, even though it's not the same Mersey as the other Mersey. Or is it the same Mersey? Is it spelled different in the song?
Mersey, different. It is spelled differently than the song.
Oh.
Than the river in Liverpool.
Well, why don't you guys just make things complicated, Europe?
Tim is TRPW. Okay, now it makes a lot of sense.
Oh yeah, because different name in the chat.
I miss these the actual the usernames that I'm used to.
Some of them are the same, but yeah, some of you change when you're on here versus Twitch.
Hey Claire, do you need to file a cease and desist on TRPW for using all caps in a chat room post?
She needs to finish her patent on that first. She hasn't submitted all the proper paperwork.
Oh, you need to finish the paperwork. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I loved everybody's impromptu art thing yesterday with your fridge thing. That was amazing.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
it was fun.
It was really good.
Are we going to do one today?
Yeah, we should do one today.
Yeah,
I think, it'll probably end up evolving to the point where that channel is just constantly getting the prompt and then people are drawing it.
Yeah.
But I will say I appreciate there was way less AI art since we clarified.
Yeah.
We were like,
for sure.
This is for you and a pencil or a pen. This isn't
exactly.
For
computers. You can come up with stuff on your own.
Yeah. Plus, it's more fun. I want to see what your interpretations are, and some of them are weird as hell. You guys are weird, and I love it. Mm-hmm. Let your freak flag fly in there. All right. Anyway, let's get to this point.
Big oyster.
Big oyster, everybody. He said, but to see like that, it was fascinating. You could see the growth lines on it, just like a tree. It's very intriguing, unquote. Nice.
Did they give it to somebody who just went?
He just horked it down. Oh man, the link is dead. I wanted to see a picture. The link is a 404. Oh no, there it came up second time. The Republican Herald. Oh no, it says it can't be found. 404. What the frick?
Oh,
I really wanted to see it.
If you hover over it and don't click it, then you can see the shell at least.
Oh yeah, look at that. Okay, yeah. That's better than nothing. Something happened to their page, but let's see. I'll put this up for you guys to see it. This is the shell. It's longer than I expected.
Yeah,
I was expecting a more circular. I guess
right, exactly.
I guess it makes sense though, like
more traditional oyster dimensions.
Mm-hmm. You imagine horking that down, just opening that up, put a little just horseradish in there, and just hork that.
No, I can't because I feel like that would just be a problem. There would be a problem, like a choking hazard.
Something too, like even if you got it down, let's say you cut it up and ate it. 20 years, dude. Something's up with that thing. You don't want to eat that.
I mean, it's not like it's been rotting at the bottom of the ocean. It's been alive this whole time.
That's true. I just don't trust it because it's like, you know what it'd be like? Okay, here we go. It may
not be very tasty. It'd just be like big and, I don't know.
Nasty and rubbery, right?
And bland, yeah.
Yeah, and the further it gets from the origin of how it grows, the more just nasty edges and stuff. Honestly, it's like, would you rather kiss a supermodel on the lips or a 95-year-old lady on the lips? That's the comparison I'm going to go with.
That's the comparison? Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
That's where I'm going with that. All right. In important political news, this is really important. Ohio Supreme Court. Are you guys bracing yourselves? They say boneless chicken wings can have bones in them.
What? This is allowed now? No, come on now.
That's what they're saying. Where's your stance on this before we even get into it?
I think it's bullshit. I think if you tell me something does not contain, speaking of choking hazards, if you tell me something does not, in its very name, is not a choking hazard, and it is a choking hazard, then I'm gonna fight you. I'm gonna fight you.
I tend to agree with Brian. I would like to recess the jury.
It's called a boneless chicken wing. It's like, listen, oops, all berries better not contain any Captain Crunch.
Oh, good point. Yeah, the little brown things better not be in there.
It's right there in the name.
Yeah. Lucky Charms also shouldn't be all marshmallows, even though I've seen that. That was a mistake, and you can't tell me in court that that's normal. It's not normal.
That's right. No, it's not normal.
Oh, these Supreme Courts are out of control! It says here, just because you order boneless chicken wings at a restaurant does not mean you shouldn't expect to find some bones, according to the Ohio Supreme Court in a 4-3 ruling on Thursday. Ooh, a tight race. Just barely won the ruling. Yeah. In a divided decision, Republicans in the Ohio Supreme Court ruled that bones are a natural part of a chicken, so consumers should be on guard for them, even in boneless wings. Here's a quote. "There is no breach of a duty when the consumer could have reasonably expected and guarded against the presence of the injurious substances in the food," referring to the bones. This is this is what's amazing to me, is that this still, in this article, comes down to a Republicans versus Democrats. The 4-3 ruling, the Republicans said that bones are a natural part of chicken, so you should expect them in your boneless wings. And then the Democrats are like, no, that reasoning is absurd. Mm-hmm. No, dude, our divisions reach all the way into our food choices. Right into our chicken. My gosh. I know. It's pretty crazy. That was, by the way, Republican Justice Joe Dieters. He wrote for the majority. The Democrats on the court called that reasoning absurd, was their word. They contended that a jury, not appeals court judges, should decide whether customers should expect to find bones in their boneless wings. So very contentious, this issue. Yeah, no kidding. Is what's the big chicken company? It takes 2 hands to handle our chicken or something like that. It's like not a restaurant, but like a no, like a chicken producer, and I can't think of Tyson. That's it. Tyson. I should have just looked at the chat room like 5 minutes ago. Tyson's they're not in Ohio though, right? Mm-mm. You're looking for connections to Big Chicken here, aren't you? I am. I'm looking exactly. I want to know which chicken company has their hands in the Ohio Supreme Court's pockets. Oh man, breaking it wide open here on TMS today. That's right, exactly. Look, if I go to a place and they have a thing that says sugar less or boneless, or sugar free is a good example. Right. If something is sugar-free, better not contain sugar, right? Sugar-less, okay, you can contain a small amount of sugar. So maybe that's the trick. Call it bone-free. How about that? Oh, you know what? That actually might be that could be the, Your Honor, I implore you. Yeah. They're not bone-free wings. They're boneless wings. Yeah. See, I feel like they got a language problem here. I have no further questions, Your Honor. Which is feels like 80% of all conflicts come down to how we say it. You know? Yeah, it really is. Yeah, exactly. English is weird. Boneless wings. So it has less bones. I don't know if that's what they actually argued, but I suppose you could. Here's a fun one. This is not the sort of thing you'd want to find. Well, maybe you would. Okay. A woman calls police after mistaking a realistic sex doll for a body. Oh. A Taranaka woman? I don't know where Taranaka is. Is this in Taranaki? New Zealand, it looks like. New Zealand? Yeah, it looks like New Zealand. The article's from New Zealand anyway. I think so. She called police after discovering what she thought was a headless body on a beach. It turned out to be a very realistic sex doll, says the article. Probably not in the tone I just gave it. You know? Oh, jeez. Well, sometimes all you need is the head. Oh, man. Oh man! I mean, we don't know where the head is, so whatever, Rainbow Bright, whatever. What'd she say? I missed it. You know, like a whole bunch of ucks and yucks and Brian and. You know. Oh yeah. They didn't like that one at all in there. It's in the article. They found a headless sex doll on a beach. What are we supposed to infer from that? What's the deal?
What's the deal?
Well, anyway, Alice Cowdery was walking her dog Sadie on Taupe Beach or Taupe? Tapua? Okay. South of New Plymouth. That sounds like some British shit right there.
Mm-hmm.
On Tuesday, when she was,
Plymouth is in
yeah. My dad had an old Plymouth, and that's true. We used to have one that was like this ancient car he wanted to fix up for the longest time, and it just sat in our backyard and got rusty. Never did anything with it. It's a good thing I'm not into cars because I'd probably do the same thing.
Yeah, probably. Good. You don't need to collect any of that stuff.
No, it's just a pain in the ass. Anyway, this was on Tuesday. She was already feeling on edge that morning after coming across 2 dead goats on the beach. Bury the headline. Yeah.
Okay. Can't wait till you click the link and look at the photo.
Yeah. Well, we can show this, right? It's not going to be like. Oh yeah.
There's nothing.
It almost looks like the head's buried.
It does, like an ostrich.
Yeah. There it is for you, chat. Let's see. She goes. So she saw these goats, right? She says, she says, I sort of been thinking about how old that was and how it made me feel a little uneasy. I had, when I first got out of the car, been thinking about bodies, which is totally bizarre. Cowdery noticed Sadie, this is the dog, sniffing around a form on the beach. She walked closer to see what it was, and I just sort of froze, she says. I felt sick. Sick. Yeah. She'd say, sick. I could see it was definitely the shape of a torso, face down, and well, that looks face up to me. Whatever.
So there's another photo.
Did they move it?
I think so. I think they.
Oh, this other one's great, dude.
The other one's even better.
Yeah.
I wish that was a closer up photo, but maybe they can't do a closer up photo.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, so they flipped her over. That's why she's got all that sand on her.
I mean, I guess since it's not a real crime scene, you can flip it over. It's fine, but. That's funny right there. I mean, this is funny because we know what it is. This would be horrible as a person, but
it'd be horrible if it was an actual human being.
Yeah, a real person, we wouldn't be laughing, of course.
No.
She said, I could see it had fingernails and the toes were very realistic, so it looked like a human figure. The dog did not seem overly concerned, but Cowdery was freaking out, realizing it had no head. She ran down the beach to get reception and dialed 111.
Oh, interesting.
How do you guys not screw that up constantly and have kids type it or whatever?
I know, exactly. That's why we have to do the 911 and not the, like some of you have the 999, right?
Yeah.
In England,
I think so. Why? Yeah, I have always had questions about this.
Because that's the first thing when you're a kid, especially if you're going to play Mary Had a Little Lamb on your touch-tone phone. I guess maybe that's the deal is you don't have touch-tone phones anymore, but you would go,
yeah, exactly. But... Yeah. Oh, 111 is non-emergency? Well, why would she use it then, says the Wraith? I don't understand.
I guess that actually is pretty good. Like, who do you call? Who are you going to call? If it's not an emergency, but you want to get the police, you don't want to have to go and look up the phone number for the police. It's like, oh, non-emergency, 111.
But having them be 3 of the same numbers in a row, I've had enough experience with my own children growing up where they would have accidentally done that 100. In fact, I think they've even done the 911 by accident when they were real little.
But do you actually still have a touch-tone phone or a physical phone in your house that's not a mobile?
No, but when they were little, we did.
Yeah.
So like when Tay and Carter were young enough to be stupid like that, we definitely did. I think one of them called 911 once, and it was, we still don't know what happened there. Just one of them dialed it.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, Claire says it is.
Claire confirms that 111 is the emergency number in New Zealand.
Yeah. So the Wraith, where are you from, the Wraith?
He does not work at the call center in New Zealand.
So wait, 111 is non-emergency in the UK and Ireland, but what does that mean though? So like if I have an emergency, fine, I call 999 or whatever it is.
Like let's say you've been in you're in a car accident, a non-injury car accident. You need to call the police, but it's not an emergency. You don't need an ambulance there right away.
Oh, we don't have we have just the one number, right?
I was going to say, we need an equivalent of that.
Yeah, maybe we do and I just don't know it. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say for sure. Somebody know anything about the states if we have anything other than 911? You do a 311 in Nevada, so maybe it's by state, the Jen says. I trust her. She teaches kids. Yeah. She's a teacher. They say, hello, Mrs. The Jen.
Yeah.
Can I write on the board the Jen?
Everybody's saying 311. That's cool. is it different stages? So like non-emergency is 311, emergency is 911, but then like, well, this is kind of emergency 611.
You do a little meet me in the middle.
Yeah, a little. This is I cut myself with a knife. 711.
Yeah. I love that. All right, I want to try it.
Yeah, 411 is information. What are you doing? You're not going to call 311, are you?
Yeah, it's non-emergency. I'm going to give it a shot. See what happens here.
Right.
I don't know if it's going to work though. Through the thing I have to use.
What are you going to say? I just want to see if this works.
Well, 911 works. 311 doesn't. Maybe 4. Well, what's info? 4. Give me the 411.
411 is Give me the 411 on that.
Let me try that one. Yeah, nothing but 911 shows up for me. So I don't know if, and
What do you mean shows up? Like you mean on your, like dialing your phone?
Well, I'm on Google Voice, and so it only recognizes 911 as a dialable. Everything else just grays out. If I do it on my phone, let's just see what happens. This is fun. I enjoy screwing around with the world. All right. 411. Let's try that.
Okay.
All right, we'll go speaker here.
The service you are calling is not available from this location.
Okay, so we don't have that. How about 311? Let's try that one out.
Thank you for calling the Salt Lake County Government Center. We are located at 2001 South State Street in Salt Lake City. Normal business hours are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. This is an automated attendance system designed to work with touch-tone phones. If you know your party's extension, you can enter it now. For the county mayor's office.
Okay, so it's just like a general county thing for us. That's weird.
Yeah.
All right. I guess I don't know how this stuff works. There's probably a whole series of these, and I just don't know what they are. Yeah, 988. I'd heard of that one, the suicide line for 988. I have heard of that. I don't know if it's the same here, though. But anyway, now you guys know where the Salt Lake County office is, and you can go there. You have the address. You're ready to go. Get in there. Ooh, what does 420 do? Let's see if we get a little blaze up thing going on.
Yeah. I'd be curious to know too, actually.
Your call cannot be completed as dialed.
You're too stoned. Put your weed away.
It'd be great if it answered, your call can't be completed, bro.
Hey, man.
Trying to reach, man.
Hey, man, you can't call this number, man. Yeah, I don't know what they are.
Yes, when people ask me, Scott, they say, "What do you do?" I say, "Oh, I do a couple podcasts. I do one that's a music show called Coverville, and I do another one, Soundography, and a movie one called Film Sack, and then we do this morning show called TMS, which is a lot like if you listen to regular morning radio, but without all of the like crazy phone calls and." And,
you can't say that anymore.
You can't say that anymore. Well done. I'm done. I can't say. Yeah, now I have to come up with a new spiel.
I mean, we'd have to. I think for us to truly fit in there, we'd have to be prank calling, and we don't really do that.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm kidding. We're still good.
Prank
still
callers.
Talking about naked sex dolls on the beach. We're good.
Yeah, we're fine.
Good.
We're fine.
Yeah.
She was face down. Her head was missing. I called the non-emergency number. All right, here's one for you. Final story of the day. Customers, this irritates me. Customers who save on electric bills. So let's say you're just being frugal, or you got some panels or whatever you're doing. They may be forced to pay utility company for lost profits in Louisiana.
Oh, really?
Oh, the South. Can you guys get anything right down there? Here's how it went. Louisiana's mayor electric utilities is that major. I'm reading mayor. Major electric utilities.
Major.
That's right.
Major mayor.
They're still pushing state regulators to allow them to charge customers for the costs of a new statewide energy efficiency program, and for the electricity customers will no longer need because of that program. Meaning, you saved it, but you would have paid for it, so pay us for it. It's like F off.
Exactly. That is so freaking
lame.
Yeah, absolutely.
Large group included Louisiana Public Service Commission staff, utility company executives, consumer advocates, and other energy experts met Wednesday to evaluate bids from companies that want to oversee Louisiana's new energy efficiency program. The LPSC and their new energy efficiency program will require certain statewide energy savings targets. Hitting those targets would help the administrator to implement things like appliance upgrades for large commercial buildings, or small efforts like low-income customers insulating their homes. While the idea might seem like a straightforward solution to cut back on waste, it does. Seems all right on the surface. Utility company executives aren't very happy with it. In general, the utility companies earn more profit when homes and businesses waste electricity. Less waste leads to lower electric bills, which could mean lower profits for the utilities. You know, I'd like to point out the problem word here. Profits. Yeah. Profits is the problem.
Right.
I don't think electricity should be tied to profiting. It should be tied to cost-efficient management. That's it. That's it.
Right.
It's electricity. It's like air and water. Give me a break. It shouldn't be profit-based. I hate that.
Exactly, yes.
And don't call me a freaking communist, whoever out there is thinking about emailing me right now. I'm telling you, you don't have to make a profit on every damn thing. You don't. Anyway, Entergy is the name of it.
And Pinko.
These guys
first-time emailer.
These guys are called Entergy. I hate that name.
Entergy.
Entergy, Louisiana, and Cleco,
yeah.
They vehemently opposed the idea and successfully delayed its adoption for years. A consultant the commission hired to write the basic guidelines for the program spent 13 years and over $500,000 trying to appease the utility companies with agreeable rules. F right up a tree. All right? Not profitable enough. F off. Oh, I wish it was Coleco. That'd be cool. Bring back
That'd be great, yeah. Oh, miss the Coleco Vision.
Do you have one of those growing up?
I had a friend, John McEachran, had a ColecoVision in his trailer with all of his stinky ferrets, and I'd go over there. We'd play Donkey Kong. We'd play. He had Mr. Do.
Yeah, Mr. Do is great.
Yeah, had all those.
Mr. Do is very. What would you compare it to? Dig Dug kind of.
It was very Dig Dug. Yeah. It was absolutely like a Dig Dug-like.
Yeah.
Dig Dug-ish.
Dig Dug-ish. Dig Dug adjacent.
Dig Dug-ish. Dig Dug adjacent. Yeah.
There you go, chat. There's my flip-off gif. I'd be mad about this, and I don't think people should take it. I think you should say yeah, we need to save energy, and profits aren't a part of this equation. F off.
Scott's not gonna take it.
That's right. And I feel that way about, there are a few things I think should not be profit-based industries. The healthcare system, energy, water, and another one that I can't think of. I can't think of another one. I'm sure there's another one.
Those are a pretty good set. That's a pretty good set of industries to not be profit-based.
Yeah, just don't even make them industries. Now, I'm not saying that... I mean, there's always this argument, and I understand the argument. You can have the government run it and run it poorly, or you can have a company run it.
That's a good one, folks. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a great example. Except it's got lots of profit centers around it, though, right? Because nobody just gets the internet. You have to pay to get the internet.
Right.
And so that also should be one that is maybe a little less profit-centered. But I'm just saying, like, there's plenty of other opportunities out there. Lots. Mm-hmm. We don't need every single thing to be a money-making thing with a CEO that makes too much money. We don't. We just don't. Right. Well, roads are already like that, Talia. I think but the way the roads work is they contract with businesses to do the roads. So that is the government paying tax money to fix roads, but they're paying, road makers incorporated to do it. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. It's the companies that you see that have the so-and-so work thanks you, for slowing down during your driving through, whatever it's called. Yeah.
Right. None of these are easy solutions, though. I know that. So I guess don't come at me. We're going to take a break. When we come back, my sister is back, everybody. She went to D.C. last week. The week before that, I had a thing. So it's been a while without Wendy, but she'll be back today. We're going to talk about an email we got.
Yay! We missed her so much.
We sure did. We'll also find out how things went when she was there. I'm sure it was fine.
Cool. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Kind of a crazy week to go, but, we'll see.
It's going to be nothing but crazy weeks for the next 100 days or 97 days or however much is left.
Yeah, we're sub 100 now, right? I think.
Yeah. Geez.
Anyway, between now and then, a song, Brian, if you don't mind.
Between now and then, a song. Let's get to this one. This is an artist named Ella Eyre, and her last name is spelled E-Y-R-E. Or is that pronounced ear, like Jane Eyre? Probably like Jane Eyre, right? E-Y-R-E.
Sure.
It was Jane Eyre.
Jane Eyre or Jane Eyre? Not Air?
Jane Eyre? Air. Jane Eyre.
Jane Eyre?
Not ear.
That sounds like an air conditioning company that I have to pay money to.
Jane Eyre. Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, Ella has a brand new single called Domino Season. You can find it via Play It Again Sam Records. Big thanks to them and PIAS for sending this along. Air. Thank you, Jeannie. Ella Air, probably pronounced Ella Air. Ella Air. Anyway, she's got a career that spanned over a decade. She's enjoyed huge success and signed her first major record deal at just 16.
Jeez.
This is great. This is a really cool, like, it's pop with an edge. Like, it's not just your straight pop song. This is like has a really cool like edge to it. Anyway, the song is called Domino Season, SZN for season. Here is Ella Air.
Who are the Mario brothers?
I don't know. The hockey players?
All I can think of is the guy in the library, Mario Puzi.
We found Nintendo America headquarters near Seattle. In true Inside Edition fashion, we had some tough questions we wanted answered.
Now we have Mario and Luigi.
His brother.
They're the Mario brothers.
That's right.
So are their names Mario and Luigi Mario?
No, it's just Mario and Luigi. There are no last names.
But why are they the Mario brothers?
Some questions just have no answer.
Can we rustle up some steaks for the sergeant, eh?
We've returned. Brian, who was that one more time?
That is Ella Air and her brand new single called Domino Season. Look for it out now, and look for more music coming from Ella Air. By the way, love any mention I can get of the great Godfather author Mario Puzi.
Yeah, Mario Puzi.
Yes.
Boy, that guy really laid down the awesome books, didn't he? The
Yes,
Mario
good old
Puzi.
Mario Puzi.
I like that he called him the guy in the library too. That's pretty
Guy
good.
in the library, like he just hangs out in there.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not talking about the Godfather author. He's talking about the guy who hangs out in the library named Mario Puzi.
Yeah, I don't know why he did that. That was very weird.
I also like how so their names are Mario and Luigi Mario. Oh no, that would be ridiculous.
Yeah, that'd be silly, right?
Until 2024, in which case it's canon. Yes.
There's an amazing. So I have this channel I follow on YouTube where they just have old weird interviews that not hard copy. What was the name of it? I forgot. They just said it in the thing. Anyway, those guys, the one that you used to have Do It Live on.
Oh yeah. What's
Inside Edition? Yes. There it is.
Inside Edition. Thank you.
And they had some of the most ridiculous, like confrontive kind of interview styles with things that were dumb like this. It's like a guy at Nintendo of America trying to explain how the Mario Brothers work. And anyway, I'm going to mine it for all it's worth. It's very good.
Great. Excellent. That's a good plan.
All right. I see nothing from Wendy, but that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, we're like a minute or two early than we usually get her. So
yeah, she's usually running a little late or a little frazzled, but we'll see what happens here. I'll just, I'll send her a little note and say,
yeah.
Hi, you good?
Hi, are you going to join us today?
Hello, fellow sibling. Are you able to join us?
Puzi?
Have you heard of Mario Puzi?
Mario Puzi.
So hold on, the real guy, Mario
Puzo.
Now I've lost how to say it. Puzo.
Yeah, Puzo. Yeah.
He did the Godfather books, and what else? Yeah. Is that it? Is that all he did? I think that was it.
Yeah, there was another. It was all gangster stuff, if I remember correctly.
And he worked with Scorsese on a bunch of it, right?
Or I think that's right. Yes.
Is it Scorsese or what am I thinking of? No, those were who did.
What's his face?
His good pal, the other guy.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
What's wrong with us?
His daughter was in 3. Why the hell am I not remembering?
Chat room, do you know it before I say hi to Wendy?
Coppola.
Jeez Louises. Yeah. All right, nicely done. Let's get Wendy in here and do this.
Here's another Minnesota tradition that's not so easy to throw in the garbage.
Oh my goodness, it's Wendy, my sister, who hasn't been here in a while, and we've missed you horribly.
Yeah, how have you guys even survived?
I don't know.
I know. We need so much therapy now.
Yeah. That song was right. The boy needs therapy, and we're ready for it. Let me ask you a question, though. You guys went to D.C. That's the District of Columbia, the nation's capital, last week. What did you do? Did you get on like Abe Lincoln's knee and what'd you do?
We did so many fun things. Do you really want to hear this?
I do.
Someone want to hear a travel log?
I do, kind of, yeah. Like, well, I don't know what you do. I mean, I know there's like, obviously, you see the Lincoln Memorial, you see the big sticky uppy thing. What's that called? The
Washington Monument.
Washington Monument. You get to go see where Nicolas Cage stole the Declaration of Independence, all that stuff.
Sure.
So what do you do on a trip like that? And why did you go?
It was really fun, and we went on an interesting week, did we not? So, Kamala announces she's running whatever day, and then we show up a couple days later, and
what timing?
Netanyahu was in town, and he was speaking to Congress.
I'm sorry. Did you say Ben Yahoo? Is that how you put it?
Netanyahu. Yeah.
I like Ben Yahoo.
All we heard was Yahoo. I was like,
Netanyahu.
Yeah.
And there were 20,000 pro-Palestinian protesters, and we at one point we just were leaving a museum and walking. It's like 5:00 at night, and it should be just traffic nightmare everywhere. We're really in the center of things, and it is silent.
Weird.
And all the roads are blocked off, and we're walking on roads by ourselves. We're like, are we in the wrong place? It was super wild.
Weird.
And then later saw where they were, and so like a bunch of stuff. And then I think Elon Musk was in town, and there were so many, I keep calling them barricades, motorcades, where suddenly like, and then everyone just freezes. I mean, the traffic there is unbelievable.
Yeah. I can only
imagine. So that was interesting. But the best part was we got the coolest thing. So if anyone goes to the Capitol, find out if your senator does this from your state. But we have a senator named Tina Smith, and she does Coffee with Tina on Thursdays. So we show up, and we're the only tourists. Everyone else are like, interns or, some different lobbyists and various people. Just anyone from Minnesota can show up, and she serves you coffee from a local roaster. She's done it for 5 years, has never repeated. Apparently we have a lot of local roasters. And she just asked us questions, and like we could ask her questions, and she asked where everyone was from or whatever. And we were the only tourists in the room. She asked us like, what's your favorite thing you've seen so far? And Abe is standing there, and he goes, well, my name is Abraham.
So the Lincoln Memorial is pretty cool for him.
Totally. And he delivered it. He's like, I'm still riding high on my timing. That was awesome. It hit. It was really great. And so
Wayne, are you saying you have a senator that seems like she's actually representing the people of the state she's
very
from?
Normal.
Weird.
Yeah, she is beyond normal. She's there Monday through Thursday, then she flies home and spends the her weekends with Archie, her husband, and her dog. I forgot her dog's name. Anyway, she's super cool and super normal. And the best part of this, so we have this chat with her. She's so cute. Everyone can get a picture with her and ask her questions, and she was great. And then one of her staffers took us on a tour of the Capitol. So we got to go in the underground, like the secret senator train. Do you know about this?
Yeah, they talked about it. They used it during the Capitol riot, the January 6th stuff.
Oh yeah, because they shuttled. That was right. That's how a lot of them got out.
Yeah.
So the building, the two big buildings, or maybe there's three, where their offices are, they take this old. It was old, and now they have a newer one. But this train that goes into the Capitol, and so we got to ride it, and we got on the train with Amy Klobuchar, who is our other senator, and we saw Chuck Grassley from like 4 feet away. That guy's 1 million years old, by the way.
Oh yeah,
and then
I don't know how they're even propping that dude up. I know. I think he's
wild.
dead. I think he's actually dead. That's my opinion.
Then we saw Raphael Warnock from Georgia, and Adam in this like everyone's just like a 20-year-old hot intern. I'm telling you, everyone is good looking and smart there. Yeah. And they're all surrounding all these senators and running around, and we see Warnock just kind of getting on one of the other trains, and Adam yells, "Go Georgia!"
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. And everyone kind of freezes because I think there's a little on edgeness that's probably continued.
Oh yeah, if somebody yells something in the middle of a tour, that seems bad.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like we are inappropriate in this moment. We need to act more serious. Anyway, and so we got to ride the little trains, and then there is, you guys maybe know this, the elevator that's just for senators.
Yeah, I've heard of that too.
Which we have renamed the Senevator.
Senevator.
I don't know why we're the first, because that's so obvious. But anyway, so it was fun.
Yeah.
Wow.
But the tour was awesome, and we got all sorts of very nuancy, fun Minnesota tidbits. So I learned a bunch of interesting things. We were the 32nd state and the last state to be allowed into the old Senate chamber because we were the 32nd, blah, 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 stuff like that. But a lot of cool, like little fun things. And I kept thinking, is this how America works now? Because we're getting notice the depictions of the native people in some of the artwork, or in not the artwork you can remove, but like the stonework. And it is grotesque and absolutely racist, right?
Oh yeah, some of it was like, yeah, man, look at what we did. Like they were pretty proud of that stuff early on.
It's rough. And so she's telling us how awful it is, and then she's pointing to these sandstone pillars that were the enslaved people were putting them there. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm getting the darker part of the history here, or just like a view that's going to be more Minnesotan. Let's just say that, which is both real friendly and hometowny at the same time, like, you know, more purple. Let's just say that, right?
Yeah.
And then as I'm walking around and I'm hearing other staffers from other states, you know, giving a tour to someone with a MAGA hat on.
Oh,
and they're getting a very different
a different tour.
Let's say that.
Sure. Yeah.
And I was like, this is unfortunate,
not gonna show
actually.
Yeah.
Right? Like, this is unfortunate. We should all be getting the same history, because it is the same history.
Do they ever say we're walking? Do they ever do that?
Walking? No.
Okay,
It was
that's a
great. But it was
shame.
like, you know, a tiny little tour group. So it was super fun. And that's one of everyone's highlights. And then we went and sat in on the House of Representatives, just in their chamber, and listened to them do a couple things.
Wait,
so that was kind of cool.
So do you guys get to see the main congressional chamber where the podium is and they do all the voting and all that? Oh, wow. So you got to see where the January 6th idiots went. Like,
you get to see all the things. And where it, like, and I asked her as we're leaving, I'm like, sorry to ask like a January 6th question, but I'm just wondering, like, what happened to all of you guys on that day? Like all of the people working here, like, because I was so near senators, like 3 or 4 times. I was like right by them. Right.
Yeah,
And then other times, tons of tourist groups are walking in and out of different chambers. Like, we are in the thick of it. Like, it's great. It actually was very heartwarming. I enjoyed feeling like it felt less, I don't know, like you're going to see the Queen and you're seeing the people's work, you know, it's just kind of cool. But I said, how did that work that day? And she's like, well, just like yesterday when Netanyahu was speaking and we knew there would be protests, we all worked from home.
Oh, okay. Unless you're in there as a special guest, or you're part of the whatever.
But they knew it was coming. Something was coming. They didn't know the extent of it, right? And so most of those sort of extra folks were just not even physically there, because it would have been crazy numbers of people inside.
You didn't see Utah Senator Mike Lee there by chance, did you?
Oh, I did not.
Now, if you had, I wonder what they would do to you security-wise. Because you remember in the 80s and 90s when you would get behind a friend or a family member and you would kick their foot over while it was in the rear, and it would kind of trip them, but they wouldn't exactly fall. You know what I'm talking about? That little move you
hit the back of their knee?
Yeah, or hit the back of their, makes them like buckle, and then they're fine. It's just annoying. Mm-hmm. I wonder what they would do if you did that to Mike Lee. How tackled would you get by?
Funny you should bring that up. My boys literally did that to me on the elevator in the Capitol.
In the Senator?
On the escalator. They wouldn't put me on the Senator.
That's too bad.
I use doesn't work so well if it's the Senator's escalator, does it?
Yes. Escalator. Escalator.
The Senexcalator. Sexalator. Wait a minute. That's a whole other product. We don't want to sell that here.
Thing, yeah.
Well, that's fun. I'm glad you guys had educational.
One other thing I'm going to tell you, Scott, because I have a hello for you. So Michelle Dare has lived in D.C. for 20-something years, so we went to dinner at her house.
Wow, that's crazy. I saw what's the band, Brian? Teach Your Children Well. I can't think of it.
Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young.
Yes, I saw them in concert with her in the late 80s on a date.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we went and saw him. Although Young wasn't
singing?
there. No, she wasn't. But it was the first time I'd heard Southern Cross.
Crosby, Stills, Nash, Young, and Scott's Date.
That's right. But it was the first time I'd heard live Southern Cross, and man, really cemented it as one of my favorite songs ever.
Transformative song.
It's so good.
That's so funny.
Well, that's good. She's doing well, and living life and all that. That's great.
Yeah. So that was a blast. So we got to see her little neck of the woods, Alexandria, and I just couldn't stop laughing. All these corporations are trying to buy up old Alexandria. I mean, it's old, like colonial houses you can't remodel. You know what I mean? It's really beautiful and very quaint and cute. And all these corporations are trying to build high rises. And everyone who lives there is a retired lawyer who has plenty of money and too much time. And so it's never going to work.
Sounds about
so
right.
I love learning weird stuff like that. Like, it's just fun there was a lot of cool.
Did you guys do the Smithsonian?
All the memorials. Yeah, we saw a bunch of museums. If you haven't seen it, the Women's Memorial, I think it's Vietnam. Anyway, it was a really cool statue.
What is the Senate chamber smell like? Does it have a smell?
Well, now urine.
Ew.
Ever since January 6th, you just can't get that urine smell out of there. But
Can't get the urine smell out. Yeah, it just smells old and like people that I don't know.
Like old, like a library, like wood and paper and
it
stuff.
Wasn't noticeable. Like I wasn't like, what's that smell? It was more like, this place is old, and the walls are real thick, and it's just.
I like
really
that smell. I like
building.
old building smells. I like one of my favorite smells. I like it.
And then I dragged my kids. This is the thing. They all wanted to do their thing, so we did their thing. I'm like, we're doing one thing for me, and we're going to the post office museum.
Weird.
By the way, it's so well done and very fun. So if you're bored and you at all like stamps, good night. It is
really
it is intense. Yeah.
If you like stamps, go to the DC post office. That's
but
great.
the whole thing smelled so much like that smell you're talking about that I thought, okay, I don't know if I can be in here too long. But it was great.
Be a little overwhelming. Well, that's awesome. I'm glad you had a good time, and I'm really glad you're back here because we've got this email that I think is going to be useful for many people to hear your advice about. So let's read it. This is from someone who likes to call himself anonymous. And they said, "Hi, Scott, Brian, and Wendy. I'm a 42-year-old man from the UK who has always struggled socially. I've never had many friends, and I'm finding it even more difficult in my increasing years." Oh, you think 42 is old? It really isn't. It's so young.
No kidding.
It's if I could go back. Anyway, I'd probably do the same things, but whatever. I've been married since 2013, and if it wasn't for my wife, I would have had little to no social life. I'm happy with my own company, I'm happy with my own company most of the time, but just recently I'm feeling increasingly lonely, which hasn't been a thing for me much previously. My wife encourages me to join groups and meet new people, but if I'm honest, don't want to. I'm in a catch-22 scenario where I want more friends, but I struggle to make the first step. I used to do things after work with my team, but I find it hard to be myself as the team has changed over the years, mainly due to lack of confidence, anxiety, and what feels like low-level depression. I'm feeling increasingly isolated, but it almost feels like I'm self-sabotaging any possible new relationships. I have counseling or therapy every 2 weeks, which helps, but the positive effects don't last long. I'm also trying to keep myself fit by jogging more and also find that an escape from what and also find that an escape from what's going on in my head. I'd be interested to hear your take. Thanks, Anonymous. I think this is relatable. I think a lot of people feel like this. Yeah. Even though he's got his own company, he's got people working for him all the time. Successful. He's married, but still feeling like, you can't make those connections or whatever.
I think a lot of this comes from just how, and even not even with the pandemic, but just how isolated we've all become, being able to do so much of our lives on a phone, on a computer, and not have to interact with other people. We lose some of those interpersonal techniques and abilities.
Really good point. So, Wendy, where do you want to go on this one?
Tell you a quick funny story. Abe needed to make a doctor's appointment. He is 18 years old. He can do it himself.
Yeah.
And, you think about by the time you were 18, you probably talked to at least your friend's parents 1 million times, right?
Oh, yeah.
Sure. As far as adults, yeah.
Yeah, you would have so many conversations. And so he started getting mad at me because I was telling him information like, hey, you got to give your birthday. I'm just telling him how to do it. And, he's never been one for feedback. So I call the number, I set the phone down, and he's like, what do I do? I'm like, figure it out. And I ran away. And he was on hold for the next 20 minutes and hung up. So it didn't work out. I was really hoping it would be like, unfortunately it did not work out. But the reality is he may never, ever have to do that again. He could just go online and schedule it. And then Then he'll talk to his doctor when he gets there. That's going to be the extent of it. So if we extrapolate that out towards just the practice. So the practice from, hey, there's a stranger, I'm going to interact a little bit, beep up, and then go on with my day, to I don't even know how to do that because I don't practice that very much. So when I am doing that, it feels really awkward, or I'm like overwhelmed, or something happens. You're going to do it even less, right? So we have a tendency as humans to move away from uncomfortable feelings. So unless we are forced to, or we don't know any better, we're going to be doing social things that give us sort of practice and some skill set, right? They take a lot of that away, and then take how everyone at the same time is also not engaging maybe in the same ways, right? It's ubiquitous enough that you're not going to go out, somewhere and find a bunch of people going like, where have you been? Like, you're the only one. We're out here having a good time. Yeah. It is everybody kind of feeling this at the same time. So he's at that magic 42-year-old age, which is classic midlife crisis time.
Yeah.
And also just sort of a tricky social time. So either you're kind of friends with people you work with, or you maybe have friends from previous iterations of life, and you're maintaining them. That's a really common thing for someone around that age. Making new friends can be really tough because it means you're having to engage in these things where maybe your skill set feels low. And he's describing that, right?
Right.
He's struggling. It's getting harder to do. And that he's starting to feel more lonely. So I want to take a tact on this. Like, it's really common. It's often, like Brian, you described, like we can do so many things without having to interact with a person. But I want to add to that, because that is a neurological reason. Mm-hmm. But there is another neurological thing happening here that I think might be helpful to tackle a little bit. Okay. So, okay. We'll go back to when he says, let's see, he finds it hard to be himself as the team has changed over the years, and some confidence, anxiety, and depression. Okay. So that is a result of maybe isolating or pulling back socially because it got scary, right? So the team changed. I have to work harder to connect and bond with people. Maybe I haven't, so now it feels more awkward. And we get sort of a vicious social cycle. So I want to talk about how we're going to break our vicious social cycles. And maybe you guys can share if you have one. And what it may look like, but from a neurological point of view. So let's just start with, let's pick one of you. Do you have any social cycles that contribute to loneliness or isolation for either of you?
Oh, interesting. This is going to be a little bit of a twist, because I've been so happy with my online friendship life.
Yeah.
That I'm kind of not bothered at all that in my regular meet space life, like if somebody kind of fades, like they're like, not ghost you, but just like, oh, we used to hang out with them all the time, but we don't see him very much anymore. It doesn't bother me. Like, it doesn't even get me. If anything, I'm like, okay, well, I could use the time. Like, it's not that I don't like them or I don't want those kind of relationships. I do, but I don't get upset or obsessed with them or worried that something was said wrong or anything like that. It's just like, well, the best relationships happen, and if they don't, they don't. If they do, they do. But I think that confidence in that, not worrying about it so much, comes because that's not always been true of me. I used to be very worried about that back in the day. But I think it changed when so much of my relationships are people online, and good relationships, like really strong relationships, that I don't feel like there's a big hole to fill. And so when it doesn't get filled, I just sort of go, well, it's fine. I got plenty of people I can talk to, and it's all right. I already talked to too many people. I kind of just need more alone time is what I need. Like, I'm kind of having the opposite problem here of him. I kind of want more.
So popular.
Or it's not even a popularity thing. It's just a noise to quiet ratio.
Yeah.
And I could use more quiet, really.
It's easy for you to turn off your online friends, but not so easy to turn off your meet space friends.
100%.
That's true.
Yeah. And I'll be one of those people that I'll fully admit, if there's a big plan and they're like, okay, now we're getting together with the Joneses on Saturday and we're all meeting at the thing and we're doing the thing. I'm like, okay, it's fine. Let's go. But then if somebody says, "Oh, Sheila Jones had to cancel last minute. There was a change or something. We can't do it." I'm not going to lie. I mean, I might say, "Oh, that's too bad." But what I'm really thinking is, "Woo! I don't have to go."
Funny.
Yeah, I do that a lot. So that's just me, though. I think Brian's probably the opposite. He's very social. Lots of friends.
I do feel like I'm the opposite. Yeah, I feel like I have a very close group of friends that I interact with online, but I've got friends outside of that life that I want to see weekly or monthly or get together with. I mean, crazy neighbor for all the fun and ballyhoo that goes on with them. It's like I look forward to going out and actually having dinner with them on a semi-weekly basis, bi-weekly basis, or couple times, maybe once a month or something. But and then seeing our friends Kathy and Scott, who have the candy store out in Georgetown. I mean, there's a lot of people that I feel like I would be crushed if I didn't see them on a very regular basis.
Yeah.
So what would you say is okay, so loneliness is not a problem for either of you. Is that what you're both saying?
I never feel lonely. No.
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 Okay.
I mean, I have a great, an amazing relationship with my wife, and I have kids who I see all the time, and now I'm getting to see their kids, and it's constant. So it's not like I'm being left alone very much. There's always something going on.
Gotcha. Okay. So if we had to identify, because we're looking at the emailer's life and seeing that, okay, one of the things maybe that's happening here with the counseling is that it's a chance it's actually a remediation of some loneliness sometime in that hour. You have this hour where everything is about you and someone genuinely cares about what you think and what, like that's the formula that if that's the only place you're going to get it, we're going to be in trouble. And sometimes that's what counseling has served for people is just, I can be open myself and it gets to be about me. And there's a lot of value to that. But it is also maybe when I'm reading this, I'm thinking, okay, well, you've got your hour every 2 weeks. That's not enough people, right? Maybe for what he is needing. You guys have enough people. But I also feel like I don't mind being alone. Like I used to take solo trips all the time to like California, to Anaheim. I'd go and do Disneyland on my own or Vegas on my own on, like 2 or 3 days like, oh, got a great deal on a flight. Sorry, Tina can't make it out there, but I'm going to go do like a little solo trip. And I would have no problem being alone without feeling loneliness. So Brian, what if I had duct taped your mouth and you couldn't talk to people?
What would you do then?
While I'm out in Vegas or
on
my solo trips? Like if I go to Disneyland, it's not like I'm talking to people in line or talking to people managing the rides or anything like that. Like there would be times that I'd go to Disneyland solo, and I don't think there was no reason for me to talk to anybody, and I don't think I did. Like
here's what I think
had
if
the
we
person
filmed
in my
you,
head that we had on a previous therapy Thursday, that voice in my head, that's who I talked to. Like, oh my God, I don't want to wait in that line. That's the voice.
You're having a bonding moment with your voice. I love it. Okay, exactly. But also you have a very friendly vibe, and I'm sure that enough little interactions. Like there's some sustenance that comes from being acknowledged. Now, there could be a whole nother hour. We talk about people who have a deep fear of being acknowledged. If anyone has that feeling, please write an email because we could talk about how much
where
you
it's
want to
like
avoid being seen.
just a stranger coming up to you and saying like, "Are you in line?" That sort of thing. Yeah.
Stuff like that. So that's a whole nother email. But so you, even though you can do that alone, and that there's some confidence there, and obviously there's lots of good, healthy reasons you can do those things. There's also just enough human interaction. It's not totally isolating, and you're not isolated in your other life. So we've got like a lot of healthy stuff in your social cycles.
Before you even go any further, can I just say how much fun I think it would be to go to Disneyland with my mouth duct taped? Like just like to see what the reaction would be. And I wouldn't like act like there's any discomfort or any reason for it. I would
normal.
just get on Dumbo and fly that stupid elephant with duct tape on my mouth and just see what the reaction would be to all the people.
Let's do
around
it.
me.
Let's do it. And we'll
Here's the
film
problem.
it.
I would not get to enjoy a Dole Whip. That's the only problem I have with this issue is
you just
no Dole
take
Whip.
it off temporarily. Okay, so thank you for sharing, both of you, because I think
Sure.
what we have is a healthy social cycle, right? You've got enough people, you've got enough activities, you need some quiet time, that you found kind of a balance, right? And there are different stages of your life. I bet if I asked you that same question, you would say it's not enough. I need some more connection,
Sure.
right?
Certainly in
And
2021 and 2020, I would have felt like that.
Yeah, totally. So here we have somebody in the UK who I think of. I live there a minute. I know a few people from there. It's not the warmest get to know you kind of culture. It's not terrible, but it's also like, it's not the north of Sweden either. But it is very much like maybe a little trickier in some ways. Americans tend to be a little more friendly, and then you're at an age which is really tricky. So this is tough. So if we do an analysis, he's given us some ways to think about it. It sounds like he's got a nice wife. She's encouraging, and really it sounds like she provides the social life, and that is not an uncommon dynamic. And she's encouraging him to do this because she can see that he needs it. She does her part. So it sounds like one of his social supports is great, but he needs more. So as we're talking, and I'm going to talk about the neurobiology that happens with some of this, I want him to think, or anyone who finds himself in a similar category, to think about what you can start to practice and do that makes your social cycle healthier. So right now, if your social cycle, if I'd asked you guys and you were like, well, what I do is I wake up and I look at my phone for 4 hours, and then I go sit at my computer and I hardly talk to anyone. I just get my work done. And then after, I throw something in the microwave, and then I play video games all night, but not with people and not talking. Okay. Because there is a lot of social that can come through some of these things. But notice, like a very lonely, isolated would not be I'm connecting with people online. It would be I'm just doing things online. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Or I am not leaving the place I live, sleep, and work and poop. It's all, the same square footage. Like I haven't gone outside. I'm not, there's a lot of biology happening in certain social cycles that are really, we don't feel good. Right. So obviously this guy's not that extreme, but from anywhere on the gamut, you can look at what your social behavior and your social cycle is and start to think, okay, where can I intervene in here? So let's just talk about what the brain's doing when you're interacting with someone. This is why Brian, I was like, duct tape your mouth. Your eyes would still glitter and people would still smile at you. That's what would happen. But what you get by just even the small things, like someone opening a door, someone extending some kindness, someone just, like stepping out of the way. It doesn't have to be big. I feel this in New York way more than you would think, because you think, oh, everyone here is busy and mean or something. And not at all. Because it's not, that system doesn't work without people at least helping each other mildly, right? There's just rules. You just got to follow. But anyway, this idea of like, you are going to get you're going to get lots of different chemicals released in your brain when you're having even minor social interactions. Now, I'm putting aside people who are having a panic attack because someone's socially interacting with them, and we can talk about social anxiety separately. Okay. So this is going to be people who don't have social anxiety for now. Okay.
Yeah.
Your brain will give you oxytocin, which is the bonding chemical. And you can watch someone hold a door for someone else and get oxytocin. It doesn't even have to be you doing a little good deed.
Just seeing a good deed does that.
Just seeing a good deed. Yeah. And so you're getting a little dopamine, you're getting oxytocin, you're getting a bunch of these little doses of these chemicals that encourage interaction. And there's a reason. Our bodies, our chemistry, our entire system requires other people to live. And we have not caught up to, we don't need that. Maybe technology can create a world where you would not need another person to live, but our neurobiology is not there and probably won't ever be there, definitely in our lifetimes. So that is all rewarding you and moving you towards more connection. It wants you to feel more connected. And even take the feeling of loneliness. the feeling of loneliness is like a warning sign. It's not itself the bad thing. What it is a part of you saying, we're in trouble. Like, we need more people. And so it will give you this feeling. The hard thing is that feeling can sometimes feel really heavy and then keep us in a social cycle that maintains the loneliness as opposed to breaks us out of the loneliness. If loneliness could do its job really well, and it would immediately pop you into, I'm going to go talk to another person now because I feel lonely. That's what it's supposed to be doing. But so often, because of our neurobiology often being hijacked by artificial sources of oxytocin and artificial sources of dopamine. So I can look at my phone, watch a bunch of reels or shorts or whatever, and watch people living life and having fun and making me laugh. And I'm going to get all of those sort of pseudo experiences of social connection and interaction. It's going to be just hand fed to me, and I can feel good while I'm doing it, right? Mm-hmm. But then we turn it off and it's silent, or we don't have somewhere to go. And it can actually create, sort of think of it as like a rebound effect of like, you just gave me fake food and now I'm really hungry. Right? And so people can experience that a lot, but it's so tricky to get out of this. You can see why I'm using the concept of cycle, is our neurobiology gets rewarded for not doing now at any different than any other stage of human sort of existence. We're getting rewarded socially by being alone, and not getting the nutrition of actual social interaction in terms of neurochemistry. That makes sense?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So we don't have a way to artificially make that sensation now, right? That doesn't exist. Like you were saying, like we don't have any kind of pharmaceutical grade solution to that chemical being a thing you could do even if you're isolated all the time. Let's say you work in one of the poles. You're up there in some Antarctic place and you're studying ice holes, or I don't know what you do. And there's nobody up there but you. Is there any way to fix that in people? I guess you were saying that before technology maybe could do it, but we don't really have it yet.
Technology gives you a way to feel connected, right? So like it's both the blessing and the curse in that it gives you, you FaceTime with your grandpa, you are getting to do something that no other generation of human ever got to do. You could be in different places and see a loved one, right? That is incredibly powerful and connecting. But I am not talking about you are connecting with your real friend over somewhere else, or you're on headsets together playing, doing a raid and we're bonding and laughing, right? We're not getting that connective stuff when we're just consuming someone else's content, which is fun and gives our brain like lots of fun chemicals maybe, but it doesn't meet this exact need. It's like it's the near enemy of what you actually need. It seems like it is. It seems like I'm feeling this thing, but then the net result is increasing loneliness. And so if we think about, yes, you can be isolated up at the pole and doing ice samples, great example. And we can give you an antidepressant. And what that will do is keep more serotonin in your brain that normally would be depleted because it's dark and you're alone. And so, yeah, we can chemically, that's what pharmaceuticals are for mental health often, is to give the brain more of what it currently doesn't have, right? And so, yeah, but there is nothing like, honestly, laughing really hard with someone you care about. Like there is no medicine that matches that in terms of connection, right? Because it gives our brain all the things, and our brain gives us all those things because it wants us to survive. It wants us to not die. And if the more we are connected and close and bonded with people, the less chance we have of dying, right? Because they can help us. And so this social network is really biologically important. And then we have all these systems in place that warn us, like the loneliness feeling. And sometimes it can be even depression, and even the social anxiety can all be tied into this, your system warning you that you're not getting enough. So, okay, explaining all of that, he's probably like, yeah, great. Tell me what to do now, because I would like to have more people in my life.
Solve this problem. Yeah.
Right. And so like when he says, I'm feeling increasingly isolated, but it almost feels like I'm self-sabotaging any new relationships. That's exactly what being stuck in an unhealthy social cycle will create.
Yeah.
He's not wrong. He is self-sabotaging new relationships because isolation, unfortunately, doesn't just, or loneliness and isolation. Loneliness can lead to isolation. Loneliness can also lead to, I need to do something differently. We needed to do this second thing. We needed to propel you out. And so one way to do that is having support from other people. Like your wife sounds like she's already on board with this. What ways can she help increase the likelihood that you're going to socially connect, or at least get out of the way if she's in the way, because sometimes that happens. But also, like, my favorite way to help people start to have more connection is to start with where they are in their own interests. So you don't have to go, okay, well, bowling is where they tell me to go to find friends, and you hate bowling. It's never going to work. So start with what you love. So if I was meeting with this person, and in fact, I would suggest they take this to their counselor and have them talk it through with them. What do they love to do? And even if it's like, well, I like to play this thing by myself. Okay, well, what is it about playing that thing? What does it give you? Where do you look at the evidence? Where do you feel more connected? Where do you feel more motivated to have a conversation? Where do you want to be seen? Kind of already find what we're working with, and then see how we can. If I had a whiteboard here, I would draw a big circle with your social cycle, and I would put, wake up and read the news and feel crappy about everything. Let's just intervene there. Let's not read the news when we wake up.
Yeah.
And within the day, as I start to have some of these lonely feelings or thoughts, I have 5 things I could do in that moment. So maybe your phone has you take your home screen or a reminding buzzer or app or something that tells you, reach out to a buddy now. And then you do it, right? You just start to intervene and break up what you have been doing, because it's neurologically at this point, probably pretty similar, and the wiring is there. And so we have to interrupt that, and we have to practice something different. Sort of going back to, my kid making a phone call to get a doctor's appointment. That is hard the first time. It's annoying maybe for the rest of your life, sure. But the practicing of the thing that breaks the cycle is really powerful. And so it might look like, okay, reach out to a buddy. It might be force yourself to go to the after hour gathering with your office, and make sure you are
happy hour or something. Yeah.
Happy hour. Why do we call it the after hour?
Well, there's like, après, I guess, après ski.
Yeah. Go to that.
Yeah, go to.
You can always tell when Wendy and I are not drinkers. You can always tell.
Right.
Because we don't know. We don't know the words. We don't know how this stuff works. Yeah.
Is that a word? No. Anyway, yeah.
Drinkland.
Drinkland.
When people gather and they drink out of these cups, have you guys heard of this? Anyway, it is. So go to that. Also, maybe there's like a trivia night. If you like trivia, nerdy stuff, go do that. If find one person in your neighborhood. I promise you, and this is what I feel like is so different from 50 years ago, is you would have been harder pressed to find someone who feels this way. Mm-hmm. People were, not that life was perfect, but they were definitely forced to be more connected to their neighbors. And they maybe only had one store they ever went to, right? Like, I'm going back in time here, but do you know what I'm saying? Like your world was only as big as it was, and the people you knew was about 150 people. That's the science here. And so we get Facebook, and now we have 2,000 friends. You don't have 2,000 friends. You have no friends, unless they're 150 real people, right? And real people online count. That's not, the distinguishing is not if it's online. It's if it's not a bot, right? Or it's not, you're anonymous all the time, right? And so our max as humans really is about around 150 people. So if we think about that sounds crazy numbers when you're feeling lonely. We just need one. And I promise that neighbor in your neighborhood is also feeling this same thing. Mm-hmm. And so how do we get everyone out of their houses and meet? So here's my advice to the whole world is to be Minnesota. They do this thing, and I did not know what I was watching when I first arrived. We got here in the beginning of August. And the first Tuesday in August, throughout the cities, and not every neighborhood does it, but a lot do, they call it the Night to Unite, and it's block parties everywhere. So as we were driving through, I'm like, why is that road blocked off? And why is that other road blocked off? And one time I saw a police escort and a fire truck, and I'm like, is something happening? And really, it's just neighborhoods gathering and having a big neighborhood party. If there's anything remotely like that, just go. In fact, maybe make yourself a goal that any social option, you have to say yes 5 times before you're allowed to say no.
That whole yes man thing, right? Where it's like, all right, I'm going to say yes automatically. I have to do it kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah. And just, you could do it with just social things. Like anytime there's a gathering, you're invited, or your wife invites you, or you're talking to a person and they're like, hey, let's do this thing. Or your neighbor is outside. Just say yes. Say yes 5 times and see what happens. Because without the practice, it's really hard to do some of the things that gives you a new social cycle. Because our brains will continually get easy drugs from entertainment. That's how it's always worked. That's how it will always work. That's why we love it. And it's a really healthy part of a balanced life. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just that it mimics so much of what we really need, but those things can only be gotten by another person. And I always remind people, start really, really, really tiny. If you heard me say 150 and your heart, stop beating, that's ridiculous. There's no way. That's just our max. But our minimum, we need to start there. What is your minimum? So maybe there is a friend, and I've found this as I talk to clients. They'll have some thought about someone from a long time ago. And I'll say, when was the last time you talked to them? And it's just like, oh, forever. And it's like, well, how do you feel about that? I mean, I don't know. And then I just make them do it, like just do it. So they reach out to this person and have this incredible reconnection. Because you know what? Everyone is in your same boat. They really are. It's incredibly unifying. Maybe Scott and Brian have like endless supplies of people, but that's because they have bases for radio.
I will take that as a
Like,
compliment.
okay.
It was surely intended to be. Sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for you who are feeling pretty comfortable in your social circles, would you just reach out to somebody else? Bring them in. There's more than enough room. And I think sometimes that's tricky, is that sometimes you just need one person to say, hey, come here, sit by me. Right? So do that.
And the trick is to find, like this is something I notice a lot with Van. He's 5 and everyone's his friend. Everyone. Yes. It doesn't matter how stranger you are. It doesn't matter who you are. You just met. You're his friend. He has full trust and wants to be there because you're both there. The automatic friend time. And I was a lot like that when I was little. And I think you can get real jaded about adults.
Middle school, baby.
Yeah, it's about when it starts. About middle school it starts, and then the rest of your life you're always like, are they talking behind my back? What's going on with this guy? You're like, I don't know if they really are. Does he just say he wants to hang out? Are they just here because Dad has all these video games in the basement? Like, what? You start to lose that innocent, everybody should be your friend thing, and
everybody's motive.
Yeah, and it's sad because it's nice to live in that childhood dream of everybody's your friend. So what we hope for him is that he can retain some of that while also understanding the realities of life and that people are competitive and often will turn on you if it benefits them and that sort of thing. It's just a tricky balance, but I do sometimes admire that. I see him do it and I just go, we'll be at the zoo and he'll just fast friend some kid he met. Some kid, I'm trying to think of the scenario, but we were at the zoo and there was some kid hanging out by the bar and he was just by himself. And he goes, that's one of my friends. I said, you know that kid? And he goes, not yet, or something. And just runs over there and starts talking to him, asks him if he wants to sit with him. Like he's just that kind of kid. But I know that he'll hit a stage where he'll be like, the reality will set in. And it's unfortunate. And for some of us, maybe that reality is deeper or it hits us harder and it makes us less willing to do stuff. I get balanced out pretty well by having a wife who's very social and loves social things. And so, Kim's always got some plan for something. And so I'm there. We're doing it. We're doing it together. But I have to admit, like, my favorite times are when I spend it with my kids because I know them and I know their entire life.
You know their motives.
I know everything, both good and bad. I just know it all. I accept it all. And they accept me for all my flaws and strengths. And so there is that fairy tale version of a relationship does exist. But for me, that's where it exists. Less so with people like in my neighborhood, although we just had a block party too, and these things happen. It's fun. It's all good. But I never once go, boy, me and that Tesla neighbor, he and I are going to, we're really going to hit it off. And
maybe that experience, like having a somewhat negative experience with a neighbor, maybe that makes you kind of a once bitten, twice shy, or at least more leery of the people around you and the neighbors and people you don't know yet, and you don't know their motives.
Yeah. And it's not so much that I'm paranoid about. It's like, do I want to go? Because it takes some mental energy. It's like, well, do I want to give a bunch of energy to this person I don't even know yet? Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, nah.
It's much easier to stay and play WoW.
Yeah, I could just go sit with the dog in the backyard and talk to that dog for a while. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
My dog.
This
my
is
dog
why we love our pets so much, because our pets' motives are very clear. So there's other. This is why I really like the. What do you already really love? Mm-hmm. I mean, a neighborhood is you live in the same place. There's some commonality, but like you already have. Because what does friendship rely on often is at least something in common, right? Some connecting factor. We bond, and our brain gives us all the chemicals that help us stay bonded when we make a connection, and that connection often comes from a thing we enjoy doing or something we both agree on, and that's valuable. So if you don't feel like, okay, I want to go chit chat and all this small talk, go to an event that is a thing you care about. Eventually there's someone to talk to, or you're just enjoying something together. Last night this is so fun. We took the kids to Vampire Weekend.
Nice.
And it was super fun. We took them 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So Abe was 8 years old when he first saw Vampire Weekend. And it was like a fun, it was a blast. It was so fun. And can I just tell you, they did the best thing at the end of the concert. I've never seen this. And I don't know who could all pull this off. But when they come back out and you're like encore and everyone's screaming, he says, so we're going to do something different. I am going to take requests, but they cannot be Vampire Weekend songs. And so people are screaming their names. And they played 12 covers just on the fly.
Really? Oh my God.
What people were saying in the audience. One was Rambling Man. I was dying laughing.
What a great talent to be able to do that too.
I know. And then we're all screaming Prince because, we're in the home of Land of Prince. And he's like, I will never disrespect him, so you guys have to sing it. So they played it.
Oh,
and then he just told us when to sing Purple Rain.
I'll let you guys disrespect Let's Go Crazy. And
because he's like, you guys
Raspberry
do not know the talent. I can't compete. It was so fun. Anyway, but I was having this moment surrounded by all these people. And like, there is something about being in a big group. Again, I'm not talking about people who have fears of that. That can be a separate email. But in a group laughing at a comedian, or in a group enjoying the same music, or, just being part of community, there is a chemical bath your brain will enjoy. And so maybe we don't jump all the way to, I have a best friend I tell everything to. We can start smaller and build. But if you're saying yes, at least daily to something socially, or at least once weekly, we can start there. You're going to eventually be practicing and being in locations and places where you're going to have a better shot at this. We can't all be Brian, who's still duct taped in Disneyland and meets his favorite people.
Right. Right.
There's gradations.
That's the only way you're gonna get me to stop singing, and It's a Small World. That's it. That's the only way you're gonna get me to not sing along.
Security has been called, and even they will be wild by his duct taped thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wait, how are you saying? Yeah, go with a muffle. Well, anyway, this is good. I think it's got me thinking about I have some relationships where every time we get together, I love it. I have such a great time, but I don't actually seek it out. It's like I kind of stay quiet about it, but there's good in it. There's good in fostering those and not just taking them for granted. So hopefully a bunch of people got something out of this. If you have questions, thoughts, your own feelings, or your own experiences of this sort of thing, you can email us and let us know, themorningstream@gmail.com. And let us know, Anonymous, how things go for you. We are hopeful for you. Wendy, it's been a pleasure, as Dad would say, and
My pleasure.
it sure has been. Is there anything else you'd like to promote or say or do? Or
Oh, I will eventually. I'm just
Okay.
recovering right now.
There's a lot going on. I totally understand. Stay away from all the COVID out there. There's a little bit of a surge going on, and be safe. All right?
You too. Bye.
All right, see ya.
Bye.
All righty. She is now gone. Wendy is gone.
Wendy is gone.
And
Gone.
that means it's time for us to end the show. But I would remind people there are shows coming up. I didn't ask you ahead of time, but is Coverville happening today?
Coverville is going to happen today. Won't happen at its regular time because one of my clients and a good friend of mine is taking me out for a sushi lunch. But it's up in Boulder. So I've got to drive up to Boulder, have lunch, and then come back. And if I've got time between that and a 3:30 meeting, I will do Coverville between the two. Otherwise, I'll do it afterwards. So might be an afternoon thing, like a 4 o'clock, 4:30 thing. What time do you do core?
Core's at 5, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So this will be a Supertramp cover story. So Greg Davies, Roger. Oh God, what is the guy's first name? It's Davies. Hold on a second.
David Davies.
Rick Davies. I was off completely. So Rick Davies is the lower voice that you hear in Supertramp. You've got Roger Hodgson who does the give a little bit, right? But then there's the other guy. Now that guy, Rick Davies, is the songwriter and kind of main dude behind Supertramp. And he and Roger Hodgson had a big falling out, don't like each other very much anymore. And Roger's not allowed to sing any Supertramp songs in concert anymore.
Oh my gosh.
But,
wow.
Yeah, but Rick is the man. Rick Davies is the guy. Like all the great songwriting, all the great stuff from Supertramp are usually because of Rick Davies. Anyway, it's his birthday, so we're going to do a Coverville all about Supertramp today. Just a shorter one. Two big full-size sets, especially with one. Even in the quietest moments being a very long song, even in cover form. So that'll be coming up later.
Big fan of Supertramp, so looking forward to that.
That album, Breakfast in America, is fire. It is so good.
So good. One of the best ever. Tonight, Core, as Brian mentioned, 5 p.m. And it's pretty long. Sometimes goes till 9.
It's a long Core.
Yeah, expect that again tonight as we dive in. Me, Bo, and John. Check it out. 5 p.m. Frogpants.tv is when we'll be, where we'll be, and we'll be live at 5. Play Retro on Friday at 1:30. Playdate in the morning. We're making up for last week, and we're going to try that Mega Picker that Jackbox people released. See how that thing works. Still haven't really fiddled with it. I probably should before we do it, but that'll be tomorrow.
Just to get an idea. I think somebody was saying, was it Ambassador Domo was saying in chat yesterday that there's some bugs going on with that. So I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, we'd always do it the old-fashioned way, so we'll just see what happens.
Yeah, let's try it, and if we have a bug, we have a bug. But
yeah.
What was that? What was that game we played last time that we're like, oh my God, why don't we put this on the regular rotation?
Oh yeah, well, it was one I had never played before until we did last time, and it was so fun.
It was so fun.
Someone in the chat remember the name of that? We gotta pull that up again.
Remind us tomorrow.
Yeah,
9 a.m. Mountain Time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Blather around. Thank you, Amy. Yeah,
Blather around. That's it. And we'll be playing that for 2 hours. So check us out at 9 a.m. tomorrow, as Brian mentioned. Also, Film Sack this weekend. We are watching
Transformers.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they are robots in disguise, but also it's the first one from 2007. So for good or ill, that's the one. Probably more ill than good, but we'll see.
Probably more ill, yeah.
Yeah. I still think I think when it's robots doing stuff, it's cool. It's a great movie. When it's LaBouffe running around yelling no, it's dumb.
No.
Yeah, don't care for any of that, but I do like robots saying roll out.
Still way subpar to the Bumblebee Solo movie.
No, that movie's rad. I love that one.
So good, yeah.
Wish they could stick to that good, but they don't.
Style, quality, yeah.
Anyway, that'll be it for us. What else we got? That's it. Frogpants.com/TMS is our website. Everything is there. Brian, let's get out of here with some music.
Sure. Pirate Ian wrote in and said, 1 year ago today, my best friend and I headed down to the courthouse, and I said, I do. Or we both said, I do, I guess. That's how it works. Since that time, we bought a house, moved across the country, and had an actual non-courthouse wedding. Can't wait for more hikes, puppies, and road trips. Yeah. Ash is a fan of all things funk, so I leave the song in your capable hands. Hug a hobo. Signed, Pirate Ian. Aw, super cool.
Yep.
Yeah, funk. All right, into some funk. I'm into some funk, and this is a newer one that somebody told me about, and it's really, really good. This is by a band called the Red Spot Rhythm Section. Maybe they come from Jupiter. I don't know. But this is from their single, the Look Up single. Here's their cover of Paul Simon's Boy in the Bubble.
That'll do it for us. We'll see you on Monday. Take care.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Yes. Get more at frogpants.com.
Wear it until you love it!
Jeez. I don't even know what that was from. Hold on.
Wear it until you love it!
Oh, Wear It Until You Love It. What movie was that?
You love it. I don't know.
Prom. It was an Ibit prom one. Ibit
Was
prom
it Ibit
on,
prom date?
Yeah, I called the file Ibit prom.